Ridiculous. Okay. Ah!
Seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganeth Haros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you, because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Dahnan doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfrikt Milgrath, the former Lord of Cyslodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfrikt whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over Holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelegion, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the forbidden... Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait, don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Dahnan rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
this place is beautiful!
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renan sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagin. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagin. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagin and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. It only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagin and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagin had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagin was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Xion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
You guys checked your equipment? lately?
Damn it. Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Oh! I am Lord Dohalim of Elden Menancia. I command you.
Threats to the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one.
Switch to hot water! Diamond meteor! Illuminate the dark! Force! Holy glimmer!
The enemy wields ours too.
We'll soon see about that!
Coming through! Ha! No! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a Virgo!
They're like locked and loaded!
Ready and raring.
Tornado!
Lightning thrust!
One here!
Point flash!
More for the
Piercing light spear!
Healing magic is in!
Take this! I'm knocked up!
I can do this all day! Mega Ray! Annihilation! Back into the
You're mine!
I'll be annihilation! Finish without I can do this all day!
You're finished!
Time to shine!
You picked the wrong fight!
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A few frenzied Zeugles during experiments here and there, but not much else.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Haros. The ones in blind devotion to Volron.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, we're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries. At least we'll know to keep our wits about us.
Get out of this!
Hurricane Flight! Illuminate the soldier! Come forth, holy glimmer!
Dragon Dawn!
These ones can run rings around us!
Rule away!
Gemini Aqua!
Struck!
Denied!
I'm not done!
Dazzling Spin!
Here,
Let me
take
help!
this!
Tiger Blade! Raging Storm!
Blow away!
Piercing! Make it rain! This ends now!
Consider
Consider yourself finished! Now! Too fast! Stand back! Let's tip it up!
Shield and flaming meteor!
My turn!
Whirling Banshee of lightning!
Raining blast! It's on! Incineration wave! No escape!
Winds of heaven! First force!
Quite necessary when creating weaponry.
Seriously? Is this a joke?
You're mine! Vacuum blade!
By the power of water!
Incineration wave!
Downfall!
Take
As
it!
if the normal creepy crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
Not today! There!
Lunar Arc!
Blow away! Raining blast!
Here's a healing arc! A whirling strike!
Try harder! You're mine!
I need to pull
No
myself together.
escape!
Flaming meteor!
You're finished!
I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara! I never miss!
There!
Far enough!
Warp into
Here goes!
Vacuum blade!
Cyan instant!
Blow away!
Going in!
Raining! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a healing arc!
Take this!
Tiger Blade!
Can't get out of this!
The flame inside me yearns to be
Radiant
less
Blade!
Tempest Tiger!
Lunar Corruption! Lightning Orb! Gemini Network! Inferno Crossing! In here!
Eat this!
Downfall! Warp into stop! I'll heal
Blow
you all!
away! Incineration wave!
More with
You're
that
mine!
healing arc!
Vacuum blade!
Cosmic Strike!
There!
Appreciate the
Into
help!
the depths of the wind!
See what I can do!
Enjoy the power of flames! Vanish without
Piercing roar!
Raging
Strike!
storm! Not on my watch!
It's this!
Illuminate the sun!
No escape! Raining!
Heaven and earth!
In a bind?
A wailing Banshee of lightning!
You're mine! Blow away!
Ready to go!
Eternal devastation!
Hurt!
Dragon swarm!
I'm
nearly done for.
Not my fish!
Stay away! I'll burn it all! Flaming pillar! Fire!
An outstanding effect!
Will this help?
Take this! Vacuum blade!
Let me out!
Ignite!
Healing shot!
There!
Here it goes!
Vacuum blade! Incineration wave! Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
They really... made us work for that one. Little help!
Locked and engaging!
Luna, where are you going?
I can read your moves like a book.
My lord!
Appreciate the help.
An astral art?
That's my cue.
You're mine! Shut him down! Vacuum blade! It's almost too strong!
Split it open!
Be my guest! Blow away!
Water, here I come! Florida!
Explosive ring!
Piercing roll! Make it rain!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Not a chance!
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Stardust! Soaring light sphere!
Anything in
Like the other way!
Winds of heaven!
Transform! We're not finished! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Get lost!
Here I come! Now you'll learn!
Glacial Steel, I never miss! Ready to go!
In a bind?
How long are we gonna be this up for exactly? Inferno Cloud! Glacial Spear! Here's evil! Here! Freeze Lancer!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a healing art!
Here I come!
In here!
Now you see what I can do. You require
I'll be
a hand.
saving
Here
you!
I come! Here I come! No further!
By the power of water!
Be still!
Make it rain!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Water!
Not
Hear my
yet.
call!
Stardust!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
With this, I can become even stronger.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Right, here goes! Move escape! Try harder! My turn! Eternal devastation! Dazzle! Time to cross blade!
Shattering of time assist! Attack time!
You're mine! Blazing Falcon! Blow away! Incineration wave! You're mine! Blazing Falcon! Stand! No further! Blazing Falcon!
Now you see what I can do!
Lightning Meteor!
Be still!
Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Hurricane Thrust!
Hear my call!
Soaring Right Spear! Luna Robo! Luna Escape! Ignite!
I owe you one for that.
Green Slash!
I owe you one for that.
Incineration Wave!
It's time.
There! I'm not
Take this!
Take You're mine!
Only save you!
Raining No! Can't end here!
Don't give up! Better! I'll bring you back from death's abyss! Judgment retreat! What the? Time to select! Guess what the doctor
Here I come! Vacuum Blade!
A new leaf on
Here I come!
Dance in the wind!
Stardust!
Sleep now!
Soaring Red
Here's
Spear!
the healing art! First aid!
Take this!
Ready and ready! Now you see what I can do! No further! I'm ready to go!
Yours to be let free! Stardust!
In here!
Run!
More for the aid!
Blue Escape! You picked the wrong fight!
Lightning orb!
Blue Light!
Here! Illuminate the dark!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be in high demand. And if that's the case...
Gotta break through!
I'll heal you all!
You're mine!
Healing power! Dance in the
Where
wind!
are you going? Appreciate the
You're
help.
mine!
Go
Dragon
Dance
Force!
was trying to keep up with a wolf! Air thrust!
Vacuum blade!
A chain between heaven and earth!
Dragon form!
A wailing banshee of lightning! Instant hit
Close the
now!
ring!
Shattering the
Pieces!
Attack right! Blow away! Vacuum blade!
I'm all stuck
There!
Raging storm!
On guard!
Here's a
This
healing arc!
one's all mine!
May a thousand gales
Blow
carry the
away!
flame! Blizzard blow!
Vacuum blade!
Searing flame!
Incineration wave!
Hear me!
Now!
Ring of Shadow!
Luna Rondo!
Starting
Rising
Rain
Rain!
down
Carve
and
through
pure
armor! Lightning!
Now!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Everyone still in one piece?
Yep. I barely worked up a sweat.
Right, here goes! Bring him down! Get out of this!
Here's evil!
You're going!
Illuminate the dark! Compass lunar
Raining
corruption!
flash!
Switch! You won't bow down! Then you leave me no choice!
Eat this! Vacuum blade!
If it's in the sky!
Incineration wave!
Can't get out of this!
Take off!
Great trouble!
Raining
I never miss a
vacuum blade!
Force!
Be still! Soaring light spear!
Let me help!
Far enough!
First
I owe you one.
Their arcs were
Vacuum
interrupted.
blade! Dragon swarm! Fire in the hole!
Here's a
Blow
healing!
away! My turn!
Take this!
Thunder! Force flash! Soaring light spear! Okay, don't leave! In an instant! Impact block! No chance! There! Damn it, Bennett! Rain flash! Crush! Incineration wave! No time!
Do it! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Now!
None shall escape my judgment!
Glacial fire!
Dazzle! Start up!
Lightning
Take
orb!
this!
Hurricane
Soaring
Luminate
light
the
spear!
dark!
Make it rain!
Don't leave! In an instant! Impact block! You're quite the gunslinger.
I have to be in this world.
Don't worry. I've got your back.
No choice.
Confiscated! Hurricane foot! Dance in the wind! Let me
Be
help!
still!
Here! First aid! I'm the true gunslinger around here!
You made me angry. That was a bad idea.
Astral energy! Annihilation! Mega ray! Annihilation!
Here goes. I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Take this!
Do it! Astral energy! Full throttle!
No! Take this! I owe you one.
How about this?
Luna Rondo!
Tiger Blade!
Rising Falcon!
Now! Astral energy! Full throttle!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen.
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
What the?
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Dahnan. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imeris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dahna. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Xion.
It was Naori. Naori Imeris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Xion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Dahnan astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dahna's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegis. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Xion, you okay?
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.